Welcome to the Piston Fanatic. I'm your host, Dave Dalton, and I'm excited to share my passion and perspective of our Detroit Pistons as we go on this fantastic voyage together. I've been a diehard Piston fan since the days of Dave Bing and Bob Lanier. I've also been the varsity basketball coach of a very successful program in northern Michigan. I want to thank all of you for listening. Please subscribe. Our Pistons got beat today by the Utah Jazz, who had only won 5 games coming into the game tonight. Now they've won 6, or 6-20, and we lost 126 to 119. Of course, the game was decided in the first quarter. We got just destroyed, 48 to 19. So we actually outscored them the last 3 quarters, but we just got beat so badly, and we could not make a 3. I know at one time they were like, we were like 1 for 11 on threes, and they could not miss a 3. So that really was a big, deciding thing in the game. They just came out and made every 3 at the beginning. They ended up shooting 50% on threes for the game, and we shot 28%. So they were 20 for 40. We were 13 for 46. They had 27 turnovers, and we only had 10. How do we lose? And we had 27 fast break points, and we still lost. But they killed us at the 3-point line. They also got us at the free throw line. They were 26 for 29, and we were only 14 for 18. So they got us there. They out-rebounded us badly, and it just was very heartbreaking. I mean, we just got that big emotional, and this plays into it. It can't. You have to be better than this. But again, I said this is going to be an up and down season. We still have a lot of young players, and we were playing without Ivy and without Stu. And those are 2 key players for our team. And we still got to do better, especially in the first quarter. But we were down by 29 at one time, and so we cut it to 6, like sometime in the second quarter, and we were down at halftime by about 9 or 10 or something, and then they came out in the third quarter and took the lead, and then we fought back again, and we got it down within 6 late in the game before they made some more threes and stuff. But it was hotly contested game. There were some fouls and ejections, and Paul Reed, he was amazing. B-ball Paul. I still, again, from the day we traded for him, I thought that was a great acquisition, and he had done really great for Philadelphia. And for some reason, even tonight when we were desperate to play him, he didn't play that many minutes. So he only played 18 minutes. Listen to the stat line for B-ball Paul. 18 minutes, 6 for 9, 9 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 12 points in 18 minutes. So you look at that stat line, and that's, does Stu ever have that stat line? And Stu's played great, and he's a big difference maker for our team, so don't confuse me. But there are not many games Stu's had a stat line like that, and especially if he's only played 18 minutes. So, yeah, he can do things. He knows how to cut. He knows how to run the floor. He gets into the passing lane. He blocks shots. He kind of got into a little bit of the fight. And there should have been a technical on Utah for when he dunked it on him. And they grabbed him and pushed him a little bit as he was dunking and stuff. But yeah, it was not our night. Cade fought hard. I was really proud of Cade because not only, he scored 33 points and, he had 7 assists. Of course, we were off shooting, obviously, like I said, on our threes, and Beasley ended up with 26 points, but he was 7 for 19 on threes, and he's been shooting way over 40%. And so Cade would have had at least 10 assists easy tonight if guys made shots close to what they've normally made. But what I liked about what Cade did, he got in a little bit of foul trouble. He had 4 fouls, but he was going after people. He still within 4 fouls. And he blocked Marketing, and then he blocked Kessler, and he was going after people at the end of the game. He ended up fouling out, but he was full court pressing. He was being really super aggressive, going after the ball. He didn't care whether he fouled or not, but he was just playing with lots of energy and playing tough. He wanted to win, and he didn't give up. He kept on going, but he had 7 assists. 4 rebounds. He had those 4 blocks, and he just was really super aggressive and physical and stuff. But yeah, 33 points. He was 13 for 23, which is a great percentage, and 3 for 8 is a solid percentage on threes, and 4 for 4. So, but I think again, like I said, I was really impressed with how hard he played, and he made a great dunk where he drove in and hammered it. But yeah, so there was those fights, and B-Ball Paul got in the fight with Jordan Clarkston, um, and then Ron Holland got into it. And so Ron Holland, he puts up his fist. He's ready to, like a boxer getting ready in a boxing match, and he's ready to go. So he got ejected. But Cade said after the game that he said, I could have closed my eyes and I would have known who was in the middle of it, because he knows that, he said, Holland's a tough dude and he likes to scrap. And so yeah, but he only didn't get to play very much, and we could have probably used him. He only played 13 minutes, but so we talked a little bit about the trade thing, and there's all the speculation about who we could or should trade for. And I think what we have to pay attention to is what Trajan said before the season, what moves he made, and it's hard to say. He's trying to win, but without trying to all in. He's not all in on winning right now. So I think he does truly want a draft pick. He is in no way tanking, but he realizes. So I'm going to tell you this: Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, Oklahoma City's got the smartest. Sam Presti's the smartest general manager in basketball, and they got all these gazillions of draft picks. They got all these great young players that they drafted. But even when Shea, people were getting mad. So now Shea's a superstar, and was first team All NBA. But there were 2 years he had played, like 3 years in the NBA. Then like his fourth and fifth year, they still were tanking. They still tanked, and they sat him. He was healthy, and they sat him. And people were saying, what is Shea Gilgeous-Alexander going to feel like when he was not this superstar? He scored like 25 a game or something, I think. And how is he going to feel that he has to sit out every year and tank, and his career is going to be wasted away? Well, Presti knew that you can't just win. You just needed to get more good draft picks, and so he did that, and they just stockpiled them. They've got them from all these other teams. They just got this treasure chest of they could trade for anybody they wanted to right now, but they've done a really great job. And so they did not rush into it. They did not panic about that. And I understand why, and I agree with Trajan. I still like I told you, my dream scenario is we win 33 games or 32 games, and we have the fifth best odds at getting the number one pick. And then we end up moving up in the draft and getting a high pick in this year's draft, get a top 3 pick. And so that's my dream scenario. But if we made it to the play-in, I'm fine with that too. I'm never cheering for them to lose. So and if we keep winning, nobody's going to be happier if we keep on winning. But I'm just saying that the reality is right in our face tonight. Reality is against Miami, we came out and we smoked them until we choked at the end of the game against Miami, and then we ended up winning it. But then this team Utah comes in, and they got. I watched part of that game. They played the Clippers, and they just got embarrassed. So I think tonight was part of their response to getting embarrassed. We come off an emotional win, and so we are not on top of our game. Again, there's no excuse for that. You have to mentally prepare yourself. But again, we have a lot of young players. We were playing without 2 key rotation guys, Ivy and Stu, and so that made it tough. So yeah, getting 29 points behind in the first quarter, though, you don't see that happen very often. And they had guys that they have some good players, and they've been tanking. So Danny Ainge is notorious for tanking too. So Danny Ainge, the last couple of years, Utah, I feel sorry for their coach because he's a good coach, and they were winning too many games, and so he traded off different players. He traded Beasley to, I think, the Lakers when they were having, like 3 years ago, when they were having a really good season, and Beasley was shooting really well for them. So, but yeah, they had 3 players that scored like 28 or 29 or 30, and so, but Sexton, I've always liked Sexton, and he's, I think, really underrated, and he had like 30 points. Markkanen, who's phenomenal, he had 27, I think, and Keontae George is a second-year player. He had 28. So Keontae George averages 14, and he had 28. And Markkanen averages 19, and he had 27, I think. And Sexton averages 14, and he had 30 tonight. But he can score the ball. He's not very tall, but he's shot and scored even when he was with Cleveland. He shot a really good percentage from 2 and 3. So yeah, it's hard, but yeah, I think that we cleared that cap space by making that little maneuver. We got like $4 million more so that we can facilitate a trade and be the third party in a trade. And the idea is, again, trying to get assets. And we weren't very successful in the offseason with all that. We had the most cap space of anybody, and we weren't able to get anybody to make a trade with us. I laugh at people talking about all these proposed trades oh yeah, Jimmy Butler to Phoenix. And, well, yeah, the only way they could make that trade work is if they, I draw blanks sometimes. I apologize. The guy from Washington that Phoenix got, he has a no trade clause. That was a really good player in Washington, and he's with Phoenix now. But they have to want to trade. They have to want to trade and get that guy who has no trade clause. And do they want to trade? Will he want to go play for them? And everybody's not going to. Oh yeah, we'll trade. They're going to trade Denver to make a trade, but somebody else has to want to make that trade. Are they going to trade Porter Jr. for Zach LaVine? Well, maybe, but does Chicago want Michael Porter Jr.? They have to want him. I say that continuously about trades. It takes two teams to want to make the trade. You can't just say a trade that you think. They always say trades, this would work for the Lakers and this would work for the Warriors if they traded this guy or that guy. But the other team has to want the guy that you're trading them. So that doesn't always happen. So anyway, Asar did not play great tonight. He played phenomenally against Miami, and I still love watching him play. He still needs to get as much reps as he can, play as many minutes. He only played 20 minutes tonight, but he was 3 for 9, 0 for 3 on threes, 3 for 4 from the line, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 6. He fouled out also right at the very end, but he had 9 points. But I still love watching him play. He needs to get in shape, and he needs to get back in the swing of things because he missed training camp, no contact stuff, and he's just starting to play in the middle, and he's been limited to minutes. But I still, if he can be healthy and just end up just getting to play, I still think he can be a huge difference maker on a very good team, a winning team. So Tobias played 30 minutes. I always, JB always plays the vets a lot of minutes. Tobias played 30 minutes, and he was 3 for 13 and 0 for 3 on 3. So that's, even when they don't shoot good, they still play a lot. But he was 3 for 13, 0 for 3 on threes. Shots flat again. Cade shot is flat. Even George in the Miami game said, line drive shot by Cade, but his shots are flat all the time. If you watch Malik Beasley's shot and watch the trajectory of his shot and compare it, or name a good Steph Curry, any of the great shooters that have unbelievable arc on theirs, and Cade just doesn't. He's shooting great. I just think he would shoot even better, at least 5% better if he just lifted his arc up, 2 or 3 more feet. But so he had 7 rebounds. Tobias did 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 blocks. So I do like that Tobias always gets rebounds and steals and assists, not very many, and blocks. He does do a little bit of everything. He had 8 points. Duren. I don't know if I want to talk tonight about Duren. I know there's somebody left a comment on the last podcast about why do you hate Duren, and I'm one of the only people who likes Duren, and I do I think he plays good enough all the time? No. Do I think he plays hard enough, or do I think he plays good enough defense? No, I don't. But he, tonight, you can't just look at stat sheets, but 26 minutes only. He's been playing way less minutes. Last year, Jalen Duren averaged 14 points, 12 rebounds, shot over 60% from the floor, 79% from the line, and he did not play good defense. He did not hardly block. He blocked less than 1 shot a game. but he played a lot more minutes, and he was really did a lot of good things. And there's stretches still, but for some reason, people have always hated centers. People have always hated big guys. It's been that way my whole life. Even there's a movie back in the '70s called Airplane, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was in the movie, and there was this little kid. It was a comedy, and Kareem was the pilot, and this little kid comes up to me. My dad says you don't try hard. I mean, it was a joke because everybody said that about Kareem, but people didn't. People didn't like Kareem. The big guys always. People didn't. Andre Drummond. People think they look like they're lazy, and maybe sometimes they are, but it's just, I don't know. There's something about centers that people have always thought worse of them than other people. I don't know. Hardaway, 30 minutes, 3 for 11, 2 for 9. He made the first 3 of the game, and then didn't make one. He made only one afterwards. 2 rebounds and 2 assists and 8 points. So Cade, like I said, I already did his stats, but Beasley was 35 minutes, 9 for 26, and 7 for 19 on threes. 7 for 19 on threes is not good for Beasley, but that's still winning percentage. That's still shooting. I don't know if that's 34% or 35% or what it is, but it's still like shooting over 50% on twos, and he had 26 points. But we needed him. Like I said, Cade threw him a lot of passes. He was wide open, and then he just wasn't on tonight. But Fontecchio, again, that is a mystery to me. And again, some coaches, and including me, every coach would do things differently, and it doesn't make one coach right or one coach wrong. And again, JB gets to see him in practice every day, but he played only 18 minutes. He was 2 for 3, 2 rebounds, 2 steals in only 18 minutes, and 6 points. And yet, even if Hardaway plays 30 minutes and gets 2 rebounds and 2 assists in 30 minutes, and Fontecchio gets 2 rebounds and 2 steals in 18 minutes and is 2 for 3 from the floor, and Hardaway is 3 for 11. But Hardaway always gets to play over 30 minutes, and Tobias can be cold, and he always gets the minutes too. But Holland, like I said, he got ejected, so he only played 13 minutes, and he was 1 for 2 and 4 points. Sasser got in there a little bit. He was 2 for 5 and made a 3. But like I said, B-Ball Paul, I believe in him, and obviously JB doesn't, even though he had to play him tonight. But again, we needed 3 centers, but I will be out of town on Saturday, so I won't be doing a pod after the Phoenix game, but we got a trip. So one reason why this is a road killer, man. And a lot of teams, this has happened in my lifetime. I've watched it happen with college teams, and when my daughter played in other college teams, when teams have been on the road, and a lot of times in Major League Baseball and stuff, they call it the getaway day. A lot of teams fall flat when they're going to, or teams that are going to go away on Christmas break, college teams, they a lot of times don't play their best game. And so we needed to play our best game because now we're going out west. So now Saturday we go to Phoenix, and Durant's back, and Sunday, and then Monday we go to play at the Lakers, and LeBron was out for a while, and now he's back. And then we got to go play at the Kings, and I don't know exactly how they've been playing lately, but that's a tough place to play, and it's always tough to play out west. Teams usually, Eastern Conference teams do not do good out west. And then Saturday we got to go play at the Nuggets, and that's a tough place to play. I will say this: after that is our chance. It's a chance where there's a stretch where we're playing Orlando, and right now. Wagner and Banchero are not playing, and so that could be a big break. We're playing them at home January 1st. I'm going to be at that game. My granddaughter's team, high school team, is playing on the Little Caesars Arena before the game, and so and then you get to stay there and watch the Pistons play. So that'll be a game that we could win. And then Charlotte, they're up and down all the time. You never know. And then we got to play. Obviously, Minnesota's good. Portland is having a rough season. Then we play at Brooklyn, and they just traded away Dennis Schroeder to Golden State, so they're trying to lose. So they're winning too many, so they got to hurry up and trade Shooter because he was playing really well for them. So that's a winnable game. Then we got to at play Golden State at home, and you never know what you're going to get with them. Toronto, they're beatable. Then we got to go at New York, which we won there, but they're going to be fired up to play us. And we get to play Indiana at home, and then Phoenix at home. So anyway, there's a stretch there where if we're going to make a run, and I think it's a good stretch because, like I said, and the season is not about Cade making the All-Star game, but you can vote now. Voting has started, so you get to vote once every day, and there's like certain days you get to vote, or you can vote, maybe you can vote twice each day. It's the most that you can vote. But then they have certain days when you can vote 6 times, like on this coming Saturday, you can vote 6 times for whatever players you want. So please vote for Cade. And again, it's not the goal of the season is to get Cade into the All-Star game, but all of us think that he deserves it. And I think that after we get through with that stretch, that homestand that I talked about, where there was quite a few winnable games, if we can survive this West Coast trip, that's going to be important to Cade, us winning enough games to Cade being having a chance to be on the All-Star game. But thank you for listening. And again, I won't be on Saturday, but I appreciate you always being here to listen to me, each of you that you are, and especially I know I have some people who are so loyal to me and listen to my podcast all the time for the last 2 or 3 years, and but I love all the listeners. So yeah, do something good for somebody. You might be the only person that does. So it's the time of the year to give and to love, and go Pistons.